Just I want to say at one point in my life, I was a Democrat. And up until the last 29 years, I was a Democrat. And the reason I was a Democrat is because that's all I knew at the time. You know, I was told that the Democratic Party was the party of black people and that they cared about black Americans. And at the time, I had not bothered to check out the platform myself to see what it was all about. And I was calling myself a Christian at the time as well. And so one day, 29 years ago, I was able to overcome my anger. And once I overcame my anger, my values changed. And so I went for the first time and I read about the Democratic platform. And I noticed that it was anti-God, anti-family, anti-country, you know, weak military. They didn't support the unborn children. They believed in abortion. And I was stunned to find out that that's what the platform was all about. And so I went and checked out the Republican platform because I didn't know anything about the Republican Party. I had been told that the Republican Party is a party of white men, racist men that wanted to put black people back in slavery. And so I didn't know anything about them. And I went and read about the platform, and it was for country, freedom, Constitution, and just everything that I wanted to be about. And so I became a Republican about 29 years ago. And I do want to tell you that it is easier to be a member of the KKK party as a black man than it is to be a Republican. Because the black people have been told that the Republican Party is the enemy of the black community. So when I became a Republican, my family members, brothers and sisters, fathers and mother, my father, my mother, and others thought I had lost my mind. They really could not understand how in the world can you be a Republican. And so whenever we had family dinners and family reunions and things, I would have a hoot nanny of a time because they are so angry. All you have to do is say one thing and they go nuts, right? And so I just kind of sit back and watch them go crazy. I started Bond after I became a Republican because I realized that black Americans, not all, but most, are suffering not because of racism, but the destruction of the family and the lack of moral character. I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama. I grew up under the Jim Crow laws. And while growing up there, we were told that the Jim Crow laws are bad for black people, for all people really, but all white people were not bad. It was just the law, and it was created by the Democratic Party. It wasn't even Republicans who started the whole Jim Crow thing. And we were told that not all white people were bad, not all black people were bad. There's good and bad in all people. But when I moved to LA at the age of 18, I started listening to Jesse Jackson and Louis Farrakhan, Al Sharpton and others, and they were saying that it was about racism. While growing up on the plantation, I never heard the word racism. It was either right or wrong, good or evil. And so this word came about once the so-called civil rights movement started, and they brought up that word because they wanted to divide and conquer for themselves. So when I moved to LA, I started to hear about racism from Louis Farrakhan and others. Have you heard Louis Farrakhan before? Oh, good. Who don't know who Louis Farrakhan is? Okay, he is the head of the Muslims here in the USA. And Louis Farrakhan believed that white people, where are they going? Come back! Come back! No. Louis Farrakhan believed that he used to teach that black people were the first on earth, and that the black people were the smartest. And what happened was that a couple black men turned evil, and they went into a laboratory and they created the white man, and that's how we ended up with the blue-eyed devil. Isn't that amazing? That's how you guys got here. You didn't know that, right?